It was nearly midnight when Daniel ran onto the platform, breathless and tired. The station was almost empty. Only a few weak yellow lights flickered above the benches, and the cold wind moved old newspapers across the ground. He had missed 2 trains already. Tonight had been long, too long. Another late shift, another argument with his boss, another silent dinner waiting for him at home. Daniel rubbed his eyes and checked the clock above the platform. 11:58 p.m. The last train was arriving. It slid into the station with a low metallic groan. The doors opened. Daniel stepped inside and looked around. Empty. Almost. At the far end of the train car, near the last window, sat one man. He wore a long black coat and a dark hat pulled low over his face. His hands rested calmly on a silver cane, though he didn't seem old enough to need one. He sat perfectly still, like he had been waiting for something. Or someone. Daniel hesitated for a second, then sat 3 rows away. The doors closed. The train moved. For a while, there was only silence. The soft hum of the train. The occasional rattle of the windows. Daniel leaned back and stared at his reflection in the dark glass. Then the man spoke. "You look tired, Daniel." Daniel froze. Slowly, he turned his head. The stranger was looking directly at him now. Daniel's chest tightened. "Do I know you?" The man smiled faintly. "Not yet." A strange chill moved down Daniel's spine. He looked around the train car. Still empty, still silent. "I'm sorry," Daniel said, forcing a nervous laugh. "Have we met?" The man tilted his head. "Not in the way you think." Daniel stood up a little straighter. "How do you know my name?" The stranger tapped the silver cane once against the floor. "Because I've known you a very long time." Daniel tried to laugh again, but this time it didn't come out right. The train lights flickered once. Then again. Outside the windows, the city had disappeared. No buildings, no streetlights, only darkness rushing past. Daniel stood up. "What is this?" The stranger didn't move. "This," he said calmly, "is the part where you decide." "Decide what?" The man looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, "Whether you keep living the life that's slowly killing you, or leave it behind." Daniel stared at him. His mouth went dry. The stranger reached into his coat and pulled out something small. A photograph. He held it out. Daniel took it with shaking hands. It was a picture of him. Older, smiling, standing in front of a small bookstore. His bookstore. And beside him stood a woman Daniel had never seen before, her hand in his, smiling like she had known him forever. On the back of the photo were 5 words. "You still have time." Daniel looked up quickly. "What is this?" "A different life," the stranger said. "One you stopped believing in." Daniel's heart pounded. "This is insane." "Maybe," said the man. "But tell me I'm wrong." Daniel opened his mouth. Then closed it. Because he couldn't. He thought of the long hours. The empty apartment. The dreams he buried years ago. The bookstore he once wanted to open. The life he kept delaying. The quiet unhappiness he had learned to call normal. The stranger watched him carefully. "You are not lost, Daniel," he said, "only late." The train began to slow. Ahead, a station appeared through the darkness. Small, bright, silent. Daniel had never seen it before. Above the platform, a single sign glowed. "Second chance." The train stopped. The doors opened. Daniel looked at the station, then back at the stranger. "Is this real?" The man smiled. "Does it matter?" Daniel looked down at the photograph again. "You still have time." His hands trembled. Then, for the first time in years, Daniel stood up and walked toward a future he did not understand. He stepped off the train. The doors closed behind him. And when he turned around, the train was gone. No sound, no tracks, no sign it had ever been there. Only the quiet station. Only the photo in his hand. Only the strange feeling that, somehow, his real life had just begun. The next morning, Daniel didn't go to work. He quit. 3 months later, he rented a tiny corner shop with peeling paint and dusty windows. 6 months later, the sign above it read, "Second Chance Books." A year later, on a rainy afternoon, a woman walked in, smiled at him, and said, "I think I've been looking for this place." Daniel smiled. This time, he was ready.